Hello, baseball fans. I know this day was supposed to be about the NFL. It's the first football Sunday of the year, but while football was starting, baseball was continuing to end. And here we are, 3 weeks left in the season, and things are getting just a tad more interesting. Well, just a tad. Nothing major happened. Nobody's clinched anything as of yet. And there have only been 2 eliminations in the past week. With that said, let's take a look at the playoff picture. First, the American League. Well, it's still kind of anticlimactic in the junior circuit, except for the AL East, because of course it is. The Yankees still lead the division by half a game, even though it's been kind of a shaky week for us. But thankfully, the Orioles had a shakier week, so that's why we're in first place still. And as for the postseason, the Yankees are 9 wins away from being part of October baseball, which we missed out on last year. As for the American League Central, it's still kind of close, but Cleveland's kind of getting away from the pack a bit. A 2.5 game lead over Kansas City. And we're seeing a change of the guard as the Royals surpassed the Twins for second place after sweeping the Twins in a weekend series. Can you believe that? In the AL West, it's pretty much it's pretty much Houston's to lose. So Houston has a 4.5 game lead, which is not that big, but with the way Seattle's playing, it's pretty sizable. And as for the wild card situation, here we go. The wild cards are pretty much mostly the same. It's the Orioles, the Royals, and the Twins holding those 3 spots. Detroit has an outside chance, but not much. Same goes for Seattle, and same goes for Boston. It's still quite a decent gap between the last spot and the first team. The first teams behind the bubble, which are Detroit and Seattle with the same record, 73 and 71. And Boston's behind 72 and 71, and Tampa Bay Rays are 71 and 72. Quite a bit out. So that's what the American League wildcard looks like. Now here's what the National League looks like. Oh boy, it's pretty very anticlimactic in the senior circuit. Pretty much all the division races are over. The smallest division lead in the National League is owned by the Dodgers, you can believe that. 6 games though, that's pretty sizable. Dodgers are up by 6, Phillies are up by 7 over the Mets and the Braves. That's another story. And the Brewers are up by 9 games. That's the largest division lead in baseball right now. Here's how pretty much over it is, the Central. The Brewers' match number to win that division is 10. 10. So they are at most 10 wins away from winning the division. They could get it probably by the end of the week, if not a little bit after that. But yeah, it's pretty much crazy. But that doesn't mean the National League isn't eye-popping. Here's what's happening in the wild card. The National League wild cards are pretty much cluttered. San Diego holds the first wild card position. Arizona's a half game behind, so there's going to be some flip-flopping between those two, which is interesting because, again, 4 and 5 in each league play each other. So basically you got the Padres and Diamondbacks competing for home field in that series, which is very important. But here's where it gets interesting. That last spot is the Mets and Braves tied up for that last spot. Now, they've been pretty close from the get-go, but we got the Mets and Braves are all knotted up. The Mets are actually a game ahead of Atlanta entering Sunday's action, but they lost that lead. However, the Mets do have the tiebreaker. The season series is even. but they have a better division record than Atlanta, which means with that, if the season ended right now, the Mets would be in, and they would face. Let's see, I'm looking at it in front of me. They would face Milwaukee. Yeah. So that's going to be an interesting race, the wild card race, especially since the Mets and Braves play each other in a couple weeks. That's going to be good. So that is a look at the postseason picture, the standings, with 3 weeks, 21 days left in this regular season. It's going to be a wild and crazy 3 weeks. So if you like this video, click the like button. If you're on YouTube, click subscribe if you want more. If you're on TikTok, feel free to hit that follow button. My story about the pennant races will be featured. Check it out where you can. And I'll be back very soon to recap week 1 of the season. And I have quite a bit to say about that. So stay tuned.